Yeah, because of my past has been very difficult, and
Okay, and do you want to get into
I
your...
had to take the role of the sole provider and the sole parent, and because of that, I've always been making decisions and also been protecting myself and my children, and I feel that that's why I'm always in my masculine energy.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So I'm just going to interrupt you here and there, but so this is great. But what I want you to do and what I invite you to do is share your story, okay? And share it from your heart space. So not the analytical space, which is this is why I'm doing this. I want you to share your heart and tell us about what happened to you and your upbringing.
I kind of lost you there.
Okay, so what I want you to do and what I'm inviting you to do in this space is I want you to share your experience and share to us and tell us what happened, not from this analytical space, because this is what happened to me and this is why I'm this, right? That is our masculine aspect. So here, and what I want to do with you guys is help you become more vulnerable and open. And I know it is a little bit uncomfortable, but you know, no one can see your video here. No one really knows your story. So what I want you to use this as a to practice, you know, speaking from your heart.
Sure. Okay, so I was married when I was 24 years old, and around when I was 29, I was pregnant with twins, but you know, we had a very turbulent relationship, and my ex-husband was going out a lot, and he was also cheating, and because I came from a very traditional background, my life was very different at that time, that you know, I couldn't make any decisions to just leave. But eventually he walked out, and when I was 8 months pregnant.
Okay.
And he walked out in the sense like he just one fine day nicely tells me that he's going for a meeting, and you know, gives me a hug, tells me he loves me, and that was it. He left, and he went after another woman.
Okay, so one second. Okay, so
5 months later, he
came
my love,
back. One sec. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just take a breath. So, this is devastating, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did this make you feel?
Today, I'm kind of, you know, I don't.
Not today.
Too much.
Not today. I don't want you to be here. I don't want you to. I mean, I know lots of time has passed. Right. So let's just focus on this experience having happened to you, right? Like, you know, you had children at a very young age and you were essentially abandoned, right? And this, like, how did that make you feel?
So I felt abandoned. I felt alone. I felt rejected. I felt like, you know, this was it. This was the end for me. I'm going to be alone all my life, and I don't know how I'm going to survive.
Okay, good. So how did you feel? So see, the way that we're communicating, and I know time has passed and I understand this, right? But I want you to get into your feelings. So how did it make you feel?
I felt abandoned.
Yeah.
I felt like I had been left, and also that I wasn't good enough, and that's why this was happening to me.
Okay, good. So all of these feelings are not felt. So we think that they're felt, but they're not felt. They're feelings that we still experience, but we've become numb to, right? So how do we know this? We know this based on our own environment, right? So if we have not attracted a masculine man, right? You know, I deal with masculine, feminine dynamics, not any man. We've not attracted that. We're not feeling good feelings of love and passion and things like that. And not just with men, because I also indirectly focus on money, everything, right? Money is
Yes.
masculine
Yes.
energy, right? I might not teach it in the way other business coaches do. I teach it in a different way, but it's all the same. They're all masculine energy, right? So if we're not, it's not getting, if those things are not in our experience today, okay?
Yeah.
And I just want you guys to be present, because you guys can rewatch this and ask me further questions in the group, okay? If these things are not present in our life now, what that means is that the feeling is still present. We've just numbed out to the feeling, right?
Right.
Because if those feelings are no, if those feelings were not present but numb in our body, those experiences would be lived in our reality right now. Okay? This is huge. Does this make sense? So,
yeah, absolutely.
So what I want you to do, and in my one-on-one coaching, we do this deeper, and I'm not going to get into such gritty stuff with you, but I will a little bit. It is bringing to surface these feelings. So even though a lot of time has passed, it doesn't matter, because the feelings are still there and they want to be felt. Okay?
Yeah.
And in terms of femininity and in terms of communication and all that, with a man that is more masculine, we want to practice, and this is why you guys are here with me. It is not for these posts and intellectual stuff, because you're not going to learn that way. You're going to learn like this, right? What I want you guys to do is practice, and in the experience of the feeling you guys feel from me, there's a feeling, right? You feel something from me, right? Yeah, okay, good. There's a feeling. So what I want you guys to do is, even in your shares, I want you to communicate with a feeling. So the masculine, whether that's a man or female, whatever, right? The masculine will not communicate with emotion. Okay?
Right.
The masculine will communicate as it is what it is, essentially. Right? More linear.
Mm-hmm.
The feminine is going to be more animated. Doesn't matter when the experience sort of happened. So for me, you know, I went into I was in a period of my life where I tried to commit suicide. I lived on the streets. I was alone. All these things. I can say those things in this sort of nonchalant way because I've dealt with those things, right? And how do we know we've dealt with them? Because of my life, right?
Right.
Forget about what anyone tells you. Look at their life. Are they with a partner that you find that you think is masculine? Are they showing evidence of results in their business? Their life will show you everything, not what they say. Okay? Now, this experience that I privately just talked about in the group, I don't know if you were there, in terms of what, you know, as a lawyer when I was sexually assaulted, that is still difficult for me to speak about, right? And when I do speak about it, there's emotion there. Okay? There's emotion there. So I want you, when you're communicating these feelings to me, I want you to communicate these feelings in a way that is heartfelt. And it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable because of the setting you're in. And Kay, I'm going to call you Kay just for your privacy. You know what I'm talking about, because we do this in our work, in our private coaching, right? I get you to go deeper. I get you to go deeper. And it'll feel more comfortable than it will with you, my love, because this is a kind of a first experience you're having with me. Okay? So I want you to tell me the story again, both of us, but I want you to be more animated in your feeling of the story. So I don't want you to worry about how you look. I don't want you to worry about how you sound. I don't want you to worry about any of that, and your identity is hidden. I want you just to share from your heart. Do you want to try again?
Okay, so do I share the story again?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was married when I was quite young, and
okay. So Fareen, I was married when I was really young. I was really young when I was married. Look at my face. Can you guys see me? Is it too sunny?
Right.
Is it too sunny, or can you see me?
Can see you clear.
Okay.
I mean, it's a bit bright, but it's clear.
Okay, Fareen, I was married really young, like so young. I can't even. I think I was in my 20s when I was married, and you know, I had 2 children. And I was really young at that point, and you know, I was married, and right before I gave birth, this and this happened. Okay, now let's try again.
Okay. So I was really young, and
You're too far
I was
away.
very- and I had 2 babies, and just before I had the babies, at 8 months, I was abandoned by my husband.
I was left. So I want you to say, so instead of these big words that we see everywhere on social media, which I hate, I hate these words, right?
Yeah.
The reason I hate those words, narcissist, abandoned, this, like, you know, my nervous system is shook, is because our inner child doesn't relate like that.
Right.
Right? We want to connect to our feeling. Our feeling doesn't connect to I was abandoned, right? Our linear logical part will after, right?
Yeah.
But that innocent part of us doesn't do that. Right?
Right.
That innocent part of us was left.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
was there.
so come closer because we can't hear you.
I was actually left on a day that, you know, I thought he was going for a meeting. He gave me a hug. He tells me he loves me. And he left the country that day. And I was 8 months pregnant, and I was devastated.
Okay,
You know,
good.
I didn't.
Okay, good. 1
I
second.
had-
So let's just stay with that feeling for 1 second. I was devastated. So feel
Yeah.
this, my love. Feel it. I'm feeling it. I want to come to tears now. Can you see me? Can you
Yeah,
feel
I'm
my...
feeling it too. It's
Good,
so
good.
horrible.
Yeah, and you can feel the emotion in her and Kay, and can you see it in me?
Yeah.
So feel it, feel it. So this is, you know, when I was talking in another video when I was addressing certain things within you, this is
Yeah.
now I'm doing it one-on-one with you, right? So we want to take this
Yeah.
shell away, and we want to feel it. Feelings are safe, and you're safe here.
Yeah.
So feel it.
Yeah.
So you know, you're about to have birth. It's so scary. It's your, you know, first time you're giving birth, right? Which is already scary. And this man,
2 babies. And yeah, I was devastated. I thought the world was crashing on me.
Okay.
Really, it felt like the world was crashing on me. I didn't know what I was going to do tomorrow. I didn't know if I was going to survive this on my own.
mm-hmm.
I had all this, you know, fear as well. I was really fearful because I didn't know where he had gone, who he was with. So there was all this, you know, feelings of rejection as well. I was also, to be honest, I was also very embarrassed.
Good. Okay.
I was,
Good. Okay. So 1 second. So I felt rejected. I felt embarrassed. Like I felt that. So when you're speaking, and I'm going to keep bringing you back to this, I want you to speak in the present day in terms of the feeling. So the words without the feelings don't mean anything.
right.
Okay? This is hard work, right? It's uncomfortable, right? I know, that's okay. It's supposed to be.
I've never done this before. I've never talked like this.
I know. So it's okay. You're doing amazing. You're doing great. This is uncomfortable, and you're with me for the year. We're gonna practice this over time. Don't worry. Okay? So good. So feel that in your body as if it happened now.
Yeah. I'm actually starting to feel it. I'm
Good.
starting to feel fear.
Good.
And the sense of rejection.
Okay, good. Okay, so often the initial feeling will be sadness, and usually what happens in terms of feelings is the feeling is safe, and this is what I was talking to Kay about. The feeling is safe. Usually the feeling is sadness, right? That's the first sad, the fear comes in when we start making meaning of it, right? The sad, someone leaving us or someone rejecting us or anything like that, the immediate feeling is, oh my God, I feel sad. I feel someone left me. I feel sad. And then it moves into fear, right?
Right.
But I want you to connect. I want you to connect with the pain.
Yeah.
I want you to connect more with the pain because the fear is the ego, right?
Right.
Which is okay. But the pain is what I want you to feel.
Yeah. yeah, like I said, I was devastated, and I, I I couldn't even eat. I was, it was like I went numb for some time as well. I couldn't understand it. But yeah, there was a lot of pain. I was feeling a lot of pain, a lot of uh, hurt at that time. That how could you do this to me at this time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I just couldn't understand it. And in the beginning, I thought he was actually going to come back immediately. I was actually waiting. I thought this is not real. It was not left. He can't have just left like that. And I was actually waiting for him to come back in the evening. And when he didn't come back till about 10 o'clock at night, I knew that, yeah, he's really bad.
Okay, and that was when you were 8 months pregnant?
I was 8 months pregnant.
Okay, this is devastating, my love.
Yeah, I was completely devastated. I felt like my whole world was crashing in on me, and I didn't know how I was going to, have this baby, or would I survive?
And sorry, and I want you to connect with and share with us what your emotional reaction was. Do you remember?
Yeah, I was crying a lot. I remember I was crying a lot, and my family came, and they kind of were trying to tell me to be strong and to be, but I couldn't. I was just crying and crying, like what's going to happen to me, and how am I going to survive this? It felt like the end of the world at that time.
Okay, and
like, yeah.
Good. Okay, and in terms of that type of cry, how long did that last?
That lasted for a while. I mean, it was that whole period until I actually went into labor.
Okay.
I was a lot of pain, emotional pain.
Okay, good. Okay, so just so you guys have an awareness of this, and I want you guys to know, because I don't think anyone really teaches this, but in terms of emotions, when we are crying, so yes, crying is cathartic and it is a release because we want to feel our feelings, but there is a very big difference between pity, like feeling pity for ourselves, and crying in that respect versus crying as a healing mechanism. Okay, because when we go through difficulty and when we go through pain, yes, there will be tears, there will be that, because there's pain and there is sorrow, but usually that sort of cry is not going to be long-lived. Okay, so when that type of oh my god, crying, like, and it doesn't matter how difficult the experience is, we're moving a little bit more into victimhood. Okay,
yeah.
And so how do we know this again? We know this again based on our life, because if we've dealt with our emotions effectively, we will go through those experiences, we will grieve those experiences, and we will attract something new in. Right?
Yeah.
And this is in terms of your own patterns, and you and I can go into things one-on-one separately, but this is just overall awareness for you. If we're not, depending on what polarity we are in terms of our masculine or feminine, if we're more moving into, okay, something happened to me and what's going to happen to me, and we're devastated, let's say, and we are like that because it is okay to feel that initially. But what happens when we're more balanced is we will pick ourselves up. We will still feel pain, but we've learned how to soothe ourselves so that we are able to feel the pain. We're comfortable with the pain. We're comfortable in the uncomfortable experience, but we're not victimizing ourselves. Okay, good. So this is what happened. Then you have the baby, and now everyone is telling you to put your pants together, put your big girl pants on, and be strong. Right?
Right.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
At that time, when I had the babies, I think I went into action mode, right? Like,
yeah.
I just, because I had these two beautiful lives in front of me, I started immediately thinking differently for some time, because I was just so focused on them.
Mm-hmm.
The few weeks of them being born, I was so focused on them. I kind of put it behind me.
Yeah.
But then when things kind of I started settling with the babies. I started again feeling the pain.
Yeah.
And I kind of find him, try to talk to him.
Good.
To say, whatever we need to sort out, you need to come back first.
Good.
And
good. So all of these are our masculine behaviors, right?
Right.
Good. Just identify it. There's nothing to do with it. It's just to see it. Okay.
It was I thought I needed him at that time.
Well, no. Underneath it is that the feminine part of us will be with the pain, right?
Yeah.
The feminine part of us will be with the pain, be with the discomfort, and like eventually heal, right? But that's why they always say healing is healing, right? So that so it's not even the thinking that we need it, because that is the masculine part of us. We're escaping our femininity. You see? Why? Because it's really freaking uncomfortable to feel. It's really uncomfortable to be with the feeling of, wow, this man left me. Wow. And accountability is something I talk about. Wow, was there something that I could have done here? Not blame. Was there something I could have done here? These feelings are big and these feelings are uncomfortable. So what do? We go into victim, right? And then we numb. Okay, I don't want to feel anything, and now I'm distracted with the kids. And then we move into, oh wow, I figured this out now. Like now I know. I can feel again because I'm not distracted by the kids. Now let me go and like get him back. Yes, from the need of, I think I need him, but even deeper than that is because we are too uncomfortable to feel we are too uncomfortable to feel the pain. Okay, good. Okay, so continue.
So yeah, I was still reaching out to him to come back.
Yeah.
And then I let go after some time because I was just, it was just too painful to keep on trying.
Yeah.
And I let go, and a couple of months later, he
so
reached out to me.
What was his response initially when you were chasing? Because that's not pursuing when you were chasing him. What was his response?
He was running.
Yeah, good.
He was trying to make excuses about what we've done. And yeah, he wasn't being responsive.
Yeah, okay. Good. You're doing so good. Do you mind just coming a little bit closer to the mic though?
Sure.
Okay, good. Okay, good. And then what happened?
So then he reached, well, when the girls were like 3 months old, so after my delivery, 3 months later, he reached out to me.
Okay.
And he said that he's made a big mistake, he would come back. And at the time, because I was still in pain and I was still, I had not kind of gotten over everything. I said, yes, he'll come back. And in my head, I'm like, okay, if he comes back, everything will, we'll work it out.
Yeah, good. That's fair. That's an okay feeling to have. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he did come back. And this was 5 months after he left, he came back.
Okay.
And I went to this is like, I'm telling you as it happened. I went to the airport thinking, I was quite happy he was coming back, and I went to the airport to receive him. And I see him coming out from the arrivals, and automatically, my reflexes just changed. I started moving backwards.
Good.
I started moving backwards. I'm like, oh no, I don't want this.
Good.
And I thought, oh gosh, I made a big mistake by telling him to come back. And what do? I was literally panicking. I was panicking because I didn't want it anymore.
Yeah.
And because just when I saw him, I realized that was it. That was the end for me.
Yeah. Good.
And after that, it was just kind of trying to tell me to stay as we wanted him to be.
Good. And then?
And then, so I stayed because, the babies were still very young, but I refused to let him come near me. I stayed with my babies in another room. I used to lock the room at night.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to interrupt you again because I want to give you more awareness. So, that feeling of rejecting someone, and I did a story about this a little bit on my Instagram. That feeling when we're rejecting someone is because we don't feel safe, right? So he did something that doesn't make us feel safe, which is fair. But our heart desire is to have a family unit, right? With him. It was our heart desire, yes? Yeah. But what happens is that fear kicks in because of what's happened. Now, the fear is going to kick in because he hurt you, right?
Yeah.
The fear more...
You feel the love anymore.
Well, it's because it wasn't even because of what happened with him. It's more so because we didn't deal with that pain, right? So if we dealt with that pain in a healthy feminine way, and we dealt with it and we went through our emotions, and the person is coming back, we wouldn't jump to say yes, for one, right? We would acknowledge our heart desire. We would acknowledge it. We would acknowledge that, yeah, this was the man that I'm engaged to. I have kids with him. I wanted a family with him, and he deeply hurt me. And we would be able to communicate that in a vulnerable way that would be able to land with him, and healing would have been able to happen, right? That's how healing happens. But what happens is if we feel that heart, we have that heart desire and we're disconnected from our heart, and instead the fear comes over, which is normal because you went through pain. This is traumatic, right? And we let that take over. What happens when we meet the man is our ego goes up and we shut down. So it's a twofold feeling, because one feeling is, well, okay, good, he's coming back. Great, right? That does satisfy our ego, right? And I want you to feel that. For everybody, there's that. And then the other part is I also want him to pay for what he did because there's no healing done.